Good afternoon, everyone. Today is the May 12th, 2020 virtual zoning meeting of the Bernalillo County Board of Commissioners. I bring this meeting to order at 3:05 p.m. As with all our meetings, we will start with a silent invocation and pledge of allegiance led by Mr. Nicholas Ham. Got to take it off mute though, Nick. Bernalillo County Board of Commissioners. This meeting at 3:05 p.m. All our meetings. We ready? Paul, we can hear you. Nick, you ready?
We ready?
Yeah.
I pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America,
and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty
and justice
for all.
One thing I would like to say before we get farther along is just that we send our thoughts and prayers to our MDC employee who tested positive. I haven't gotten any more information other than that, what we heard last night, but we will keep him in our thoughts and prayers, and I'm sure he'll be fine. I'm sure he's strong, and we'll get through this. So thanks for alerting us to that last night, Julie. So with that, are there any changes or additions to the agenda, Mr. Grotti?
Good afternoon, Chairman Talbot, members of the Board of County Commissioners. The only change to the agenda is the appeal item, which is I don't know if you can hear me, this is the rodeo item. All of the applicants and both the community and the applicants have all agreed to a deferral of that item. Catherine, what time period were we looking at?
Mr. Chair, Enrico, we could try for 90 days. That 60 days would be July, so 90 days would take this to August.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you, Enrico.
Having said that, there are no further changes to the agenda.
Excellent. Well, we'll take care of that appeal deferral here in a second. So with that, we have approval of the minutes. So I would make a motion to approve the minutes of the last zoning commission meeting on April 14th. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Commissioner Casada. Thank you. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Madam Clerk, if you call the roll, please.
Commissioner Colley, he's not here. Is he absent or excused?
He's excused.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for reminding me. Sorry about that.
Okay. Commissioner Casada.
Aye.
Commissioner O'Malley.
Aye.
Commissioner Piscotti.
Aye.
Chairman Talbot.
Aye.
So called. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Clerk, that is the, Madam Clerk, Madam Chair, Madam everything. That is a unanimous vote, so thank you. So with that, we'll move on to number 5, which is appeals. We would follow the process that we have for appeals, but since there has been a request for a deferral, I would take that motion now from Mr. Grotti to defer item 5A, it looks like. Is that correct, Mr. Grotti?
That is correct.
Okay, is there a second with that?
Second.
Perfect, thank you. So we have a motion and a second. Mr. Grotti has said that the appellants and the opponents have asked for a deferral for 90 days. Thank you, Catherine, for alerting us to the time frame. So with that, the motion's been made and a second to appeal item 5A. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. Madam Clerk, if you'd call the roll, please.
Commissioner Colley is excused. Commissioner Casada.
Aye.
Commissioner O'Malley.
Aye.
Commissioner Piscotti.
Aye.
Chairman Talbot.
Aye.
Thank you. So called.
Thank you so much. So we do have an item 5B. Mr. Grotti, is that anything we'll hear today, or is that connected to 5A?
Chairman Talbot, members of the Board of County Commissioners. The next item is ready to move forward. This is an appeal from the County Planning Commission over a tie vote, and it's my understanding that all parties are ready and willing to move forward with this case. Mr. Savoca has been working on this case for some time.
Okay, great. I would call on, I guess we start with a staff presentation for 5 minutes, correct? Okay.
Okay, good afternoon, Chairman Talbot and Commissioners. My name is Mino Savoca. Am I coming through clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. I'm a program planner with Bernalillo County Planning and Development Services Department. The item before you now is agenda item 5B, case number COA 2020-0001, an appeal of the County Planning Commission ruling for case number CZ 2019-0015. The subject property is located at 3708 Tower Road Southeast and is zoned A1. The applicant initially requested a zone change from A1 to R1 to address platting issues and a possible error in the zoning and platting of the property. The staff report recommended approval. After hearing testimony from the neighbors opposed to the request due to zoning issues and concern with density, the County Planning Commission moved to deny the request. Due to a split vote, however, the motion failed. Without a subsequent vote, the request was denied without findings. The agent for the applicant is appealing this decision of the CPC and requests that the Board of County Commissioners approve the request with the findings as stated in the staff report. The Neighborhood Association has also since retracted their opposition after ongoing discussion with the applicant, though they still have concerns about the potential for increased residential density. Due to this development, the Board of County Commissioners could consider granting the appeal and approving the zone change. This concludes my presentation. I will stand for questions from the Commission.
Thank you, Mino. Any questions from any commissioners at this time? Commissioner Casada.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Mino, could you kind of go over the reasons for some of the no votes on the CPC? It's not quite clear what those issues were, and if there was issues, have those been addressed?
Mr. Chairman and Commissioner Casada, the votes largely surrounded discussion about density of the area. So this is a developing urban area. The neighbors to the east have approximately 1 acre lots. There's a patchwork of county and city jurisdiction with a lot of rather small lot city properties with larger parcel county properties. And so the concern was, is this zone change going to allow a densification of the area? There is still an outstanding zoning enforcement issue on the property regarding some inoperative vehicles and debris. But our zoning inspector has been working with Mr. LaGrange, the property owner, and he has really gone above and beyond in addressing those issues. There are still some outstanding issues, but again, those are unrelated to the zone change. That's just an enforcement issue. So to answer your question more directly, most of the concern was about the ability with R1 zoning to subdivide this into several small, dense properties.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Casada and Mino. Any other questions at this time for Mr. Savoca? Okay, thank you, Mino. So now we're here, even though
Mr.
there's...
Chair, I'm sorry, I didn't have my.
Oh, please, Commissioner O'Malley, I'm sorry.
I apologize. I had a question. What is the minimum lot size for R1?
Minimum lot size for R1 is, I believe this is in residential area 3 of the Southwest Area Plan, so 1/3 of an acre.
Okay, so can you convert that to
square
footage? No?
I mean, at most on this property, it's 2 very long, narrow parcels.
Okay.
They're only about 70 feet wide. That's part of the reason that we're switching from R1 to A1. The minimum lot width is 150 feet wide. So even if Mr. LaGrange were to merge those 2 parcels, he would not meet the minimum lot width. So by switching to R1, he's able to rearrange those lot lines a little more appropriately. But given the R1 area requirements for lot width, depth, setbacks, etc., you would not be able to get 3 units per acre. It would be much smaller than that. At most about 9 per acre, or nine units total in this stretch.
So the other question is this under agricultural use now?
It is not. It's residential. Mr. LaGrange has a residence on the property.
Okay, and does it have access to irrigation like a well or a, actually, does it have ditch irrigation?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner O'Malley. Thank you, Mr. Savoca. Anyone else? Any other questions? Great, thank you. Well, there are no opponents, but we do have the appellant's presentation. So, Mr. LaGrange, if you'd like to say a few words regarding this project, you have the floor.
Thank you. What I would like to say is I've invested quite a bit of money in the last 6 months waiting for the county to come back to life. So as you can see, it's been first we had the elections in January, the holidays in December, and then February, the day my hearing came up, it was a snow day, and then brings us to COVID-19. And some of the issues of I have 2 cars on the lot that need to be moved out of here, and because of COVID-19, I haven't taken them out. They're ready to go. They're on a trailer and ready to go. It's just that they haven't gone. The only citation I do have on the property is for blocks that piled up in the front yard there. And the reason I have the blocks there is because I'm waiting to build the fence according to the new plot layout. So as soon as the new plot layout is done, that will happen. The other thing that I wanted to mention is this is not a issue with compliance of any rules or anything. It's a zone change, which would allow us to increase the amount of money coming into the county if I were to split it out. Because right now, like you said, it's 2 70-foot lots, 1,033 feet long, and I don't meet back then when I put the house here. I guess I met the criteria, but now since I'm switching, it doesn't meet a criteria, so I'm not legally right. So let's make it right. Let's change it to R1 so we can make this thing right. And that's all I want to do is be a good neighbor and make the situation right, with the county and the county has invested several, I'm assuming $1,000 into Tower Road, making it a 4-lane highway, and the infrastructure is here. There's water and sewer on both sides. I go from Tower all the way to San Ignacio, so I have a road on both sides. Both sides of the property, and the only thing is for us to make it right as a community so we can help the community get up into where we need to be. Right now, the land, I can't do anything with it, and it's not being put to use as it should. Did you have any questions for me? Anybody?
Thank you, Mr. LaGrange. Well, it looks like there is no opponent, as Mr. Savoca stated. So it sounds like you're going to take care of the issues on the property that you acknowledge, the cars, and you'll build the block wall, assuming if this gets approved, and really getting the property into a place that fits the area is what your intent is.
That is definitely correct. Push forward with our community and make it a better community. I mean, no need in having wasted land. I mean,
sure.
That's what it amounts to. There's 2 acres, 3 acres of wasted land that can be used.
So, Mr. Grotti, do we have a time frame that Mr. LaGrange is aware of to fulfill and fix the issues on the property that have been cited?
Chairman Talbot, members of the Board of County Commissioners, we've really kind of been waiting for this particular item to be resolved one way or another so that we can work with him on the other things that need to be done. So we're in a bit of a holding pattern.
Okay.
And as he mentioned, there's been numerous things that popped up every time this hearing was scheduled. So,
Okay, perfect. All right, well, there is no opponent's presentation. Mr. Grange, it sounds like you've surmised your case already. So any other issues, Mr. Savoca, anything from you to close?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, no further comment from me. Thank you very much.
Okay, any other commissioners, any comments or questions? Okay, hearing none, I would take a motion from any commissioner to approve or deny, obviously, this appeal. It looks like it was denied on a split vote, so our vote would stand. So I'll open the floor now for a motion.
I'll move for approval. I like the fact that, you know, he's trying to better the area. And with the dimensions that they, you know, said earlier, that there's really nothing you can do with it. It's what he had. So I think he has a valid case. So I'll move for approval.
Okay.
Second.
Second from Commissioner O'Malley. Okay, great. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes unanimously. Madam Clerk, if you would call the roll, please.
Yes, Commissioner Colley is excused. Commissioner Casada,
Aye.
Commissioner O'Malley,
Aye.
Commissioner Piscotti,
Aye.
Chairman Talbot.
Aye,
Thank you. So called.
unanimous. Thank you all very much. Thank you, Mr. LaGrange, Mr. Savoca, appreciate. Thank you, Mr. Ham, for leading the pledge. So with that, I'll announce the next zoning meeting. Thank you, Catherine and Rico, for your input. Is Tuesday, June 9th. Right now, it's still set as Zoom, so we'll be Zooming in again. And I'll be Zooming with the rest of my colleagues here at 5 o'clock. So Zoom, Zoom, and meeting adjourned. Good afternoon. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.